Hello, esteemed speakers, dear delegates, and everyone who has taken time out to attend this event. A very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Team Connect. Also, thank you, ET, for all the media support. So what I'll talk about over the next 15-20 minutes is briefly introduce Connect and also talk about our point of view and how we are helping customers in accelerating digital transformation. So Conneqt, as some of you would know, and for some for whom Conneqt is new, Conneqt has been in the industry for almost more than 17 years now. We are a team of almost close to 40,000 employees today. BFSI is the largest industry that we focus on today. Right. So in the BFSI sector, we work with almost more than 20 banks, more than 20 NBFCs. It's a team of almost 25,000 people of 40,000 just working for BFSI customers, right? So if you look at what we do, there's a lot of work we do on the front office customer lifecycle management, both inbound, outbound. There's a lot of work we do on the BFSI back office, mid and the back office around the whole customer lending and the loan processing work. We are India's largest professionally run collections company. And there's a lot of work that we have started to do on the IT services side as well. So fairly comprehensive portfolio, right? And if you look at it, we probably handle as a company about 600 million customer touch points, more than 20 languages. We cover India's 94% of India's PIN codes. So I would say from an overall perspective, very strong understanding and deep expertise around the whole front and the back office in the BFSI sector, right? And that's something that we are proud of, fairly strong NPS in this particular sector, right? One of the things that we did about a year back is we relooked at our purpose statement, right? And we said, why do we exist as a company, right? And the more we looked at it, the more it was evident that we should be a trusted partner for our clients in helping them grow revenues, in helping them enable efficiencies and enhance customer experience, right? And eventually we have to play a role in helping the customers on these three key areas, right? And so the more once we did it, it was very apparent as to what should be the focus on how we go about doing that, all right? And I think I'm just briefly putting out the trends that we see in the industry. And I think for all of you, I think this is very evident, right? And I'm sure, I think, and this is nothing new here, but I think if you look at the key trends today, I think across the board, BFSI customers are, I think all of you are looking at how do we enhance customer experience, right? And how do we look at customer journeys that are taken care? How do you make sure there are new operating models that you should look, right? Because the whole industry is getting disrupted. So what are the new operating models to thrive in? The power of data and what are the insights that you're able to gather from data, right? And cybersecurity is a boardroom item today, right? So the focus on cybersecurity is very strong, right? And also primarily newer ways of working, right? I mean, it's about how do we work with the ecosystem more? How do we work with the fintech players more? How do we work with the entire ecosystem of player? And how do we rejig internal ways of working and external ways of working in this new model, right? So those are the trends that I think I'm sure all of you recognize that we see, right? We are also cognizant today that customers are already undertaking digital transformation. So it is no longer something new, right? And we are also cognizant that when we look at the digital transformation, every enterprise has their own journey. There is no one size fits all for this, right? And then we did some studies, and I think we could resonate with, I think, what ThoughtWorks had put together and what does it take to succeed in this area of hyper disruption, right? And I think these are trends that we could associate with either with successful enterprises who have done transformation or within enterprises where there are examples of successful transformation, right? I think if you look at the key ones, I think is everything about how do we ensure all of the programs are geared towards delivering value to customers, all right? And make sure that everything is around value to customers. Second, how do you make sure that we are able to get the platforms right through and leverage insights and make sure that we work around rejigging the whole platforms for customers, right? Next, we said, I think more than large transformation programs, I think small incremental initiatives, digital initiatives are giving more value to customers. Fourth, we are looking at newer operating models, right? I mean, we are looking at, I think, successful enterprises and initiatives are looking at operating models and digital programs which look at business outcomes and digital solutions, right? Next, it's about how do we have teams around an engineering mindset and a delivery model, because eventually it is not just about competencies, but how do we re-engineer platforms, re-engineer applications, re-engineer solutions around that, right? And I think when we look at all of them, they need to eventually come together to create a very efficient, effective, and sustainable digital plans which bring together the front, middle, and the back office together. Correct. So when we looked at all of that, we said, okay, how do we make sure that we are there as a partner to help our customers, so that we are able to get these best practices and we are able to help our customers in accelerating digital transformation. So the focus that we put together was essentially making sure the customers are already underway in their programs, and can we look at, helping them in advancing or accelerating that. All right. So the first thing that we have done, I think, over the last year and a half is really bring together a team, a core digital team from the industry, right? So I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but just to give you comfort that the team today that is focusing within Conneqt on the digital competencies and the digital services essentially are a team that have come together from the industry across several reputed companies within the company to be able to help our customers in the journey, right? So we have a core digital team well underway now there. So from overall digital IT services team, it's a team of almost 300 people, and I think our endeavor is to get to about a couple of thousand people on this within the next 12 months. So what are the ingredients? Now, when we look at it, we first said we should look at, when we have the team, we should look at the key competencies that we have, right? So we have set up key competency centers today, right? The first competency center is what we have is around the whole customer experience and digital engineering, right, and app modernization, right? So this team focuses on this particular key area. Second is around data analytics and AI. Third is around business platforms, largely around platforms such as ServiceNow and Salesforce. All right. Fourth is around process automation, right? Largely around everything that we can do on RPA and some of the aspects around on the integration side. Next is around infra and cloud services, right? What we can look at it, and finally around cybersecurity, right? So today we have at a company level within Conneqt Digital, we have all of the 6 competencies, and they're underlined by strong technology partnerships that are detailed below, right? So this team is in place. The team is already working with several customers, and I think the reason I bring out 2-3 things here is, when we look at, as I think the trend and I think the best practices spoke about, it's very important today to look at how do we get newer operating models. We believe one way of getting new operating models is leveraging the power of workflows. So, and hence, for example, a partnership with ServiceNow becomes very important because we're leveraging workflows to bring together different teams in a company, working together to look at customer outcomes. All right. Second, we look at low code, no code, right? I mean, how do we look at accelerating digital transformation through several small leaps rather than large transformations? So when we have to look to do that, low code, no code becomes very important. So there, for example, our partnerships with tech companies like OutSystems is very important because we can bring low code, no code competencies to you and help you on those digital initiatives, right? Third, when we again look at incrementals, automation becomes important, right? So the hence the partnerships, for example, with some of the other companies like UiPath becomes important in rolling out automation programs, right? So I'm just trying to call out some of the things and our working practices to make sure we are able to accelerate transformation for you in ways that can add significant value. Second, given our strong focus on the business process management, right? I think when we are looking at essentially making an impact on business outcomes, platforms become important. So today at a company level, we have set up 3 core platforms, right? The one is the whole thing around the front office, right? And essentially here it is about customer experience, customer service, and especially helping them on their outbound sales, right? So a service call today is turning into a service call is turning into a sales call. So how do we enable technology and services to be able to do that? Second is our entire focus around the efficiency part and the whole lending life cycle. And the third platform is around the collections part. So what have we done in each of the 3 areas, right? What we have done is in each of the platforms, we have brought together a number of technology accelerators that can help put together processes, and that can get to business outcomes, right? So today, when you look at many of the institutions, there are contact centers, right? But how do we get contact center of the future? And more importantly, how do we get it quickly, correct? So how do we enable customers to be on that journey? And that's where we bring components of our platform that can help them, and also some of the tech alliances that we have to help them on their modernization journey. And I spoke about how do we get service calls into sales calls, correct? And if you have to do it, it's very important that our folks are able to do it very well. So that's where our sales in a box and a number of accelerators that we have built become important. Second, on the lending life cycle, across the board, customers are looking at better lead management. They're looking at better turnaround time. And what used to take days for essentially processing is now getting to be a few hours. So how do we look at the whole aspect of it from the turnaround time, from the efficiency part, and increased better lead generation become important. So that's what we have done there. And in collections, it's primarily about reducing the cost of collections and increasing the collection efficiency. So what have we done? So what is our model today? So we have technology through our platforms, which our customers can leverage in parts or in the whole platform as it is. And we have the operations competencies. So for many of our customers, when they're introducing, let's say, new products in the market, they don't necessarily need to go through a separate tech initiative and a separate ops initiative. We can bring components of a platform and bring that on board and provide the operations capability in these three areas. So here, our model is about clear business outcomes, leveraging through our platforms or leveraging through a combination of our platforms and operations for our customers. That's the second model on the services that we are able to offer in the BFSI space. The third one, as I spoke about in the key trends for successful digital transformation, it is eventually any digital program should touch about or should make an impact on customer value, right? So when you have to look at customer value and customer journey mapping and customer experience, it's very important to look at all aspects of that, right? So we have a dedicated team just focusing on the CX practice, right? So they look at best practices, they look at CX strategy, they look at the voice of the customer, they look at the journey mapping, they look at all of the current operational data, they look at how do we enhance the employees who are serving the customer. There are multiple channels today. There is the branches, there is the contact center, there are the back office. How do we get all of them on a seamless platform? And more importantly, how do we get a CX culture within the company, right? So today, our practice on CX focuses on a number of things, because eventually we believe digital transformation, as I said, should yield customer experience and improved customer improved value to the customer. And finally, we are also, as I said, cognizant that many of our customers already have their current digital programs, right? And many of them also have teams today. But we also notice that many of them are always trying to solve today's problem, where some of them are trying to solve tomorrow's problem, right? Now, how do you make sure we look to have the digital competencies for tomorrow? And which is where I think the business innovation labs that we have can potentially help customers. So what does this mean, right? This essentially means we look to enhance our customers' existing digital teams by setting up an extended center of excellence or an extended innovation lab. It can be in technology areas or it can be in business areas, right? Business areas can be front office, or business areas can be the back office, it can be in technology areas, be it in data, it could be in automation, it could be in digital engineering. And so we set up these innovation labs. So we are able to get the ability to work with the ecosystem, including startups, including other vendors, including academic institutions. So we're able to get these teams working to supplement your existing teams. And I would say the key value that you get here is, because we are an extended partner, right? We are constantly not thinking of just looking at services, but we're looking at thinking of problems for tomorrow for you. And we are able to constantly come up with best practices, right? And I think the differentiating factor here for us is our business understanding, right? So we're able to look at, again, technology to look at business. So today we are able to initiate this for a few customers. And I think we really believe the concept of innovation labs as an extended partner for you can make a big difference to solving problems for tomorrow. So what does it all mean? What does it mean from a Conneqt digital perspective? So what it essentially means from our perspective is leveraging our extensive industry knowledge, extensive BFSI industry knowledge because of the process or the operations experience that we have today, leveraging the competency centers that we have that I spoke about, leveraging the partnerships that we have today, the innovation labs, underpinned by the CX practice and the frameworks and the platforms that we have today. So we believe we can bring all of this together, right? And we can help accelerate accelerate your digital transformation, but more importantly, make sure this digital transformation is leading to business outcomes. All right. So that's essentially Conneqt Digital. That's essentially how we believe we can make a difference to you and help you accelerate your transformation programs. So with that, I would like to say thanks. Happy to take any questions. But more importantly, thanks again for taking the time, and look forward to an opportunity to help you in your transformation programs. Thank you, everyone.